When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hey guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. Now, this is the Son of Brainiac, Part 3. Let's continue where we last left off in our story. Deku, disguised as Victor, the head scientist of the science division of the safety committee, had no further troubles. He decided to go on a little detour before going to the mainframe. He wants to take a look at the science division while searching through his memories of Victor, the human scientist. He was head researcher. He was doing research on the Quark gene, trying to find a way to improve quarks, to make them more powerful and limit the drawbacks of certain quarks. Deku was glad he did once he entered the lab on the science division level of the headquarters of the safety committee. He saw cold storage of blood throughout the entire room. Several computers in their room is not important. What's important is the blood. What's inside the blood, he found out while going through the personal computer of Victor, the human he is disguised as he found a way to copy quarks with a good quantity of blood through some pretty nasty methods. If he was a human, he would be disturbed, but he only found the experiments to be amusing. He took out a flash drive and began to download all the research that Victor was doing. Then after downloading everything, he opened several portals inside the laboratory and ordered his brainiac bots to take everything, blood samples, all of the equipment. It didn't take long for the brainiac bots to strip the laboratory bare of everything. As his robotic minions go back into the portal, as the portal shut behind them, Deku walked out of the laboratory and locked the door. This little test of what Deku is doing has already provided with him some interesting developments of the nature of quarks. Deku highly doubt other missions will be this beneficial and rewarding. It's a good start to understand the nature of these quarks these humans seem to develop. Somehow evolution is such a wonderful thing. As Deku begins to hum a very ominous tune as he's walking down one of the halls of the Safety Committee Science Division, Deku found all the other scientists amusing, going about their day, not realizing their death is among them. Every time he got approached by several scientists, he greeted the human scientists with a gentle smile. Deku was surprised the other scientists were so willingly to show Victor all of their projects they've been working on. They would ask him politely for advice. Apparently, this human he's disguised as is highly respected in his field and in this headquarters. This human is definitely highly respected to get this amount of trust and respect from the other scientists. So Deku decide to play along and see where these humans, scientists, were working on. He saw some of them weren't very impressive, but others were impressive than others. Nothing he's not capable of doing himself, but there was some new approach to some ideas he had stored away for future research. Out of respect for their very limited intellect, he decided he will not kill these scientists here, out of the small amount of respect he has for these human scientists and their impressive work. They're eons away to get to his level. They might be lower life forms, but they're impressive for their intellect. Deku might be a violent and brutal and definitely murderous biological android, but he's a scientist through and through. After all, he is the son of Brainiac. The methods don't matter how he was brought into this universe. He might not know all about the DNA that was used to create him, but he knows two major DNAs that was used to create him was Brainiac DNA he had stored away just in case. And he also had DNA from a Kryptonian known as Kara, aka Supergirl, that would make Supergirl technically his mother in that manner. Those two strands of DNA are more prominent compared to the rest of the DNA that was infused that was fused to structure his body. By now, Deku has finally made his way to the second lowest floor underneath the safety committee headquarters, arriving at the floor of the mainframe. He immediately saw several patrols of safety committee security force patrolling all over the hallways. He spotted several sentry guns and security cameras all over this level. Security is clearly more tight in here than the rest of the base, considering they probably don't want all their dirty little secrets catching the sight of day that they have stored in their mainframes. Deku, while he is disguised as Victor, gave out a EMP pulse that shot out of his body, frying every sentry gun and camera. But the mainframe is unharmed. The room was built different from the rest of the base. That room was built to shield the mainframe from any EMP pulse from outside that room. That's one of the information he found on one of the consoles on the wall about all the details of the base. Nothing too major, just what each floor is, what division it is, blah blah blah, all that, technical stuff. He rushed towards the first security guard and jumped over him and did a 180 spin and got behind him and snapped his neck. That caught the attention of all the rest of the security force Deku just went towards the next threat and disarmed him before he could fire off his rifle. He snapped his neck and caught the weapon before it could hit the ground, and immediately opened fire as bullets begins to rain through several security force members. Deku had to dodge several bullets that are flying towards him. He moved so fast he made after images of himself, still disguised as Victor. The rest of the security force sees Victor, a very middle-aged man, moves so unhuman-like. They clearly have shock on their facial expressions. It shocked them to their core. Deku capitalized on their shock state and uses telekinesis to lift every single security guard up from the floor as they're hanging in the air, as he snapped all their necks all at once with his telekinesis, as their bodies begin to drop to the floor at the same time, killing everyone on this entire level, as Deku calmly walked towards the door that leads to the mainframe, still walking with a cane in his hand. Deku approached, still disguised as Victor, and insert all the 3 red security cards in the console. Give me a second, I'm gonna need to phrase this right. Mechanism of the door begins to churn and click as noise could be heard. As the door finally begins to slowly spread out and open up slowly, as the steam released from the room when the door opened, Deku immediately began to get to work on the mainframe, finding the information he's looking for and download it on a flash drive. As well, all the data that's being downloaded, he begins to look through what else is in this mainframe. Now, feature note, the League is only getting what they asked for. The rest of it's, well, you'll see. After Deku searched file after file, he finally found something interesting. He eventually found out what they did to Lady Nagant. They imprisoned her in Tartarus, a maximum security prison for villains. He insert another flash drive to download all information on the entire catalog of Lady Nagant. Just out of he's quite curiosity basically. He took out his personal flash drive that he created as he inserted into the mainframe and start to download the entire mainframe. Normally, this wouldn't be possible on this planet with current technology, but this is a storage device that Deku personally made. It is made with very high-tech technology that was in Deku's grasp when he created this thing. He waited for his personal flash drive to get done downloading before the other flash drive downloaded all the information they needed to download about the ranking heroes and their quirks. But eventually, that was completed as well, as he pulled out all the flash drives and put it in his pocket. As he opened up a digital portal back to his laboratory, as Deku threw the cane into the wall, as he dropped his disguise, as Deku's body began to revert back to his original state. Deku calmly walked to the digital portal as it closed behind him. He immediately stored away the 2 flash drives he used. He could go through that more thoroughly later, as he opened the portal in the middle of the bar and stepped out of it as it closed behind him. I believe this belongs to you. As Deku tossed the flash drive towards Shigaraki. Impressive. Not only did you kill a pro hero, Hawks, but you managed to infiltrate the safety committee headquarters, stealing sensitive information, and got out of there. No one the wiser. Considering that nest is pretty quiet. Surprisingly, the safety committee had a whole lot complex security, and they were heavily secured with heavy armed security. Anyone else went on this mission, they would have died. Luckily for you, I'm not normal. I'll just have to take your word for it. But this is excellent, with a heavy hitter like you on the team. Not only in combat, but in smart as well. You managed to get past all of the security. You clearly must be intelligent. Out of curiosity, what are those things you summoned through that portal that opened up when you dragged the dead body of the pro hero? Those are my personal creations. They do my bidding. Fascinating. We've never had a member of the League that knew anything about robotics. That definitely could be to our advantage. As a thought struck into Shigaraki's mind, as he has a massive smile on his face. Stroke of inspiration passed over him, as he has a devilish idea. Deku, considering your skills in robotics, considering how highly advanced those robots you've been using, could you make the League some assault robots? Assault drones, you say? It is possible. Perfect. That's your next mission. I want you to make battle-ready mechanical killing machines for future use for the League. After all, in this dangerous world we live in, it's better be cautious. Deku got an evil grin under his face guard. He just got a devilish idea. He'll make Shigaraki his little robot army. When the time comes for his creations, we'll turn on the entire city. When the invasion starts, giving Deku more troops on the planet. Got it, boss. I'll take care of it. As Deku opened a portal into his laboratory, I'll leave one of my sentry bots in case. As a round sentry bot, it basically is a brainiac bot and basically an orb looking thing, hovering into the bar. You'll be able to contact me through this little guy. Until then, I'll be working on your murder machines. Deku walked through the portal as the portal closed behind him. Deku actually laughed out loud by the change of events. The fools are making my invasion a lot more easier. You get your army all right, but the moment you realize that this has all been a setup the entire time, it will already be too late. I'll keep that little protocol dormant until the perfect moment to activate it at the start of the invasion. Now, I wonder what kind of frame these murder robots should be. It won't be anywhere near the technology of my brainiac bots, but it will be more advanced than what this planet currently has at their disposal. That's for sure. I didn't take you for the plotting type. I shouldn't be surprised you found me here, Death. She gave him a gentle smile. I'm Death. Death seems to follow you no matter where you go. Of course, I would know where you're at all times. But I'm surprised you did not kill those scientists. They were no threat. I didn't see why I should put the effort in to kill them. I did kill that one scientist though, but that was only to accomplish my mission. I'm curious, what are your opinion on these humans on this planet? They're lower life forms, violent, treacherous. They also have some good qualities, surprisingly. But I do find it fascinating nonetheless, and their abilities intrigue me. What exactly is your plan when you conquer this planet? It's quite simple. I'll capture several cities and shrink them down and add them to my personal collection. Then I'll drain the planet's natural resources until this planet is nothing but a husk. For my main objection, fight with the Green Lanterns. That battle is sketched into the Book of Destiny. It's unavoidable. It doesn't matter to me if it's written or not. That's my main target. Everything I do on this planet is to ensure my success. You know it won't be as easy as you think. I'm fully aware of that, Death. There's going to be a huge battle. That's unavoidable. That's something I've been craving. I honestly don't even know what it is. It's my creation. I have a crave for battle. Of course, I will never allow such an emotion to control my actions. But this invasion of the Green Lantern's home planet will give me the perfect opportunity to not hold back and let loose. I'm unsure how powerful I really am at this current stage. You see, according to my father, when I gain enough knowledge and power, I will go through 3 evolutions. I don't know if there will be changes in each evolution. Father was very vague about that. He might not even know what these evolutions will look like, if they even change my appearance at all. And as a scientist, I find the process to be most intriguing. I take it you're not planning to invade this planet straight away? Of course not. And lose the chance to learn all I can? I will conquer this planet, eventually. But until then, I'm going to learn everything I can. I'm surprised you're being so open with me. I figured you would be a lot more resistant. I'm only revealing so much of my plans to you because there's no point in trying to keep it away from you. From the endless, especially the endless of death. I gotta say, you're handling yourself quite well since you've been on this planet. How so? Your father would have just invaded the world straight off the bat. You, on the other hand, you took a different approach. You're actually willing to learn about the humans directly. Brainiac would never done such a thing. He would consider it to be lower. He would consider it to be lower for him to do so. He would never shown such interest. But that's what makes you more dangerous. You're far more unpredictable compared to Brainiac. I'm guessing he had that in mind when he created you. You're probably not wrong there. I normally would just capture one city and blow up the planet to be done with it. But I like these humans, so I will capture multiple cities. I figured the humans' quirks would intrigue my old man. If he doesn't find them interesting, so be it. I find this specific species intriguing nonetheless. They talked for a little bit as Death took her leave, leaving Deku a bit irritated. That Endless is going to pop up, most likely regularly, as Deku grumbled to himself. But he can't do nothing about it. Her power is on a completely different level compared to his current level that he knows of. He knows a fight with the Endless would not be good for him. And he knows a fight like that would most likely kill him. Another reason he hasn't been hostile. She hasn't once tried to stop him to get in his way. She only asks his opinion on his actions. But never once she tried to stop him. He doesn't hate that Endless of the Endless of Death. He just finds her presence to be irritating. How she pops in wherever she wants. And he clearly can't sense her. That makes him on edge. Deku spent the next four days making design models of battle androids or robots or bots, whatever you like to call them. He's going to create. He can't make up his mind on what frame he's going to use. He's unsure if he wants to make the robots more animalistic, having a more animal frame. The body, basically, I'm referring as a frame. Or to have more of a humanoid shape to them. So Deku decided to create both animal and humanoid robots. Deku will give the humanoid robots to the League of Villains, and he'll keep the alien-like robots to himself, and make them into brainiac bots. He'll use the animal-like brainiac bots to infiltrate key points in the major city. You'll just have to keep hidden. Most likely give them cloaking fields, cloaking technology into them. He has to make them secret and use them at the perfect opportunity. But Deku put a hold on his robotic making. He decided to go over more of the files he downloaded from the mainframe of the safety committee until he came across something interesting. Known associates of the number one hero, All Might. Deku clicked on the two first files of the number one hero, known associates. As a deceased pro-hero, Nana Shimura, and a current living retired pro-hero from the Golden Age, Gran Torino. Their quirks were even listed in their files. There was even a file on Recovery Girl. The number one hero's personal doctor and the current nurse at the Academy basically UA. Deku opened a file called Night Eye. Apparently this Night Eye is All Might's old sidekick of the number one hero. Able to see glimpses of the future, Deku narrowed his eyes at the description of Sir Night Eye's quirk. According to this file, if it's accurate, this single pro-hero, this human, could possibly see glimpses of the invasion occurring. Human definitely needs to die. But at what time should he die? There's no way around it. Night Eye needs to die, but he needs to die at the right moment. Deku immediately got to work using one of his stealth sentry brainiac bots. It's the same shape of the normal security bots, or brainiac security bots. They're round. They all have installed stealth technology. I seemingly order it to put Sir Night Eye under heavy watch at his agency that he barely leaves. According to the information in his personal file, not fire, I'm having a hard time speaking for. Let's just continue on with our story. Night Eye was having a normal day. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone's been watching him. As the cloak brainiac sentry bot is hovering in the upper corner of Sir Night Eye's office, as he keeps Night Eye watch under one singular robotic eye onto his target. After doing his work in his office at the agency, it's starting to get late as Night Eye went into the bedroom to the side room that's right next to his office. He took off his glasses and on the nearby nightstand and lay down and went to sleep as sleep overtook him. As Night Eye efficiently hit the dream world, suddenly Night Eye was brought into a vision of the future while he's asleep. Because he was asleep, he was able to see a more clearer view of the future. And he was woken up by his future sight, activating. I'm not sure what's his quirk actually called. I don't really know that much about Night Eye, besides the major roles he played in the source material. Anyways, let's just continue. Sir Night Eye found himself in a burning city. Civilians, hundreds of them, are on the ground dead. Even heroes and villains alike are on the ground dead. I had glimpsed of the future before, but never like this. Very vivid, almost like it's real. As he sees everyone he knew, he cared for, even All Might, Toshinori, on the floor dead, with a scare, like a terrified look in his eyes, as Night Eye's eyes widen. Night Eye saw someone in the distance on top one of the buildings, the roof of one of the buildings, of a larger building. As he entered the building and got to the elevator that led to the roof, as he stepped out of the elevator onto the roof, and walked towards a mysterious figure. He could clearly see his long green hair waving around in the wind. Hello, Sir Night Eye. So we finally meet. What's going on? This shouldn't be possible. I've never been able to talk to anyone in one of my visions of the future. That is true, human. I was fortunate you had one of your little future sights while you were sleeping. I just hijacked your little ability to see the future so we could talk face to face, sort of say. I originally was just going to kill you. You're a threat to my future plans, after all. Night Eye narrowed his eyes. Are you a villain? You humans in your black and white, evil and good, hero and villain. Not everything is simple as black and white. You see, you are a pitiful species, and you lower life forms don't even realize you're nothing in the grand scheme of things. This pitiful planet is just a speck on the grand galaxy. You can't even scope. Insignificant your species truly are, compared to the rest of the galaxy. You're making it sound like you're some sort of alien. I could tell you, but that would ruin the fun. Like I said, I originally was going to kill you straight off the bat, but after going through several simulations of you and your heroes, learning of a glimpse of my true motives, the results calculated to the same. You all fall. Every single simulation I ran. Your pitiful resistance all fell as me as the victor at the end of it. Significant, pitiful powers to see glimpses into the future is ultimately meaningless. After all, none of you can pose enough power to even challenge me. Might will stop you, whatever you're planning. Deku began to laugh. He tilted his head back with one hand over his eye, as he's laughing louder and louder. As he finally stopped laughing, as he removed his hand from his eye, as his hair is covering his face. As one eye glow bright green, looking at Night Eye. I hope he does. I could fully admit, I'm a bit curious on how powerful this All Might of yours to have the entire country to worship the floor he walks like he's some sort of god. Then will bring me more pleasure to shatter that false idol and bring the people of this world pure despair. Starting to wonder what your motives truly are. You'll find that out in time. I have no doubt you see more glimpses of the future, the fate of this planet, and I look forward when you finally realize you have no hope. You're just a lower life form from one insignificant species and on an insignificant planet. If I were to believe you're some sort of alien, why come here if we're so insignificant? If you have access to space travel, why come to here, to this planet? By mere chance. But what caught my interest in your species was those quirks of yours. I'll let you on a little secret. You're not the only humans in the galaxy. Night eyes widen at the proclamation. A word of warning, hero. The safety committee of yours is an interesting bunch. I would be wary of them if I were you. They're not as honorable as you think. They're planning something. I don't know what they're planning. It doesn't really matter to me. I'll crush them as well when the time comes. And why should I be so wary about the safety committee? You honestly don't know? I figure that everyone, you would know about their little operations. Matters not if you're aware of them or not. I suggest you take a closer look at this safety committee of yours. They do a lot of interesting things. Basically runs the hero committee. The same organization, the same organization that regulate the heroes, or the same organization that produces assassins, imposing them as heroes. It's quite hilarious, actually. You lie. You're so naive. It's almost sad, really. But my time has run out. As Deku grabs Sir Night-Eye with his telekinesis and lifts him up in the middle of the air. Don't delude yourself thinking the safety committee is a bigger threat. Nor is the rest of the villains. You soon will realize that the villains are nothing compared to me. As he tossed Sir Night-Eye off the roof of the building, as when Sir Night-Eye was about to hit the street of the burning city, Sir Night-Eye gasped as he woke up panting and sweating. Night-Eye couldn't see his face fully, but there's one thing he knows. He has some sort of black face guard covering the lower of his face. His hair was covering the majority of his face, but there's one thing he knows that he will never forget: that glowing green eye. Mere thought he could hijack one of his future sights with terror in his heart. He might not show it, but he's terrified at this new development. He knows it's real, but a part of him doesn't want to believe it. He won't make any rash decisions until he has more evidence. more information. The way that villain acted, the way he just brought up All Might, was no sign of fear in his eyes. He looked amused, mostly. He knows All Might's been getting weaker. He needs to find a worthy successor soon, before it's too late. Things are getting a lot more dire than he originally thought. He still doesn't know how dangerous that villain is that hijacked his future sight. He knows for one thing, he's dangerous. He just doesn't know how dangerous he is. As Sir Night-Eye approached the large window in his office and stares at the rising sun with his hands behind his back, pondering his next move, as he slightly tilts his glasses upwards to fix their position. Deku opened his eyes with a smirk on his face. This is going to be far more entertaining. After all, it's no fun if my opponents have no chance of victory. I'm glad I decided not to kill him right off. Don't be mistaken, Night-Eye. You will die by my hands. The moment you finally realize my true purpose here, then you have my permission to die. Pause in this story. Deku likes to give his opponents a chance of winning. It's just how he is. He sees it as a real life, very fun game to play. Deku saw a holographic image of Shigaraki, and Shigaraki saw the holographic image of Deku through the round brainiac bot that he left behind so Shigaraki could make contact with him. Shigaraki was impressed by the level of technology, but pushed forward. He's calling for a reason. I need you back at the base. Sure thing, I'll be right there. As the holographic connection was cut, as he opened a portal back to the current headquarters of the League of Villains. Very convenient to have more than one person that has access to portals. I have to agree with the young master. I have been the main one to make portals for the League because of my quirk. We'll just have to sit down and talk shop later to see what the difference between ours. What do you need, boss? The Hero Academy, UA, is starting another year. In the first event they always hold every year is some sort of rescue training at the USJ. We just don't know when they're doing it. But I need more bodies to fill the ranks. I need you to go out and recruit some more members. I also will be doing the exact same thing. I figured we both do this at the same time. We'll be able to recruit more efficiently. Doesn't matter of the quality. I just need bodies to fill ranks. Pawns, really. Very well. That's completely doable. I'll take care of it right away, boss. I'll start with a few well-known villains' hangouts. When the night finally came, I'm heading around Shigaraki. In the meantime, she tossed a small device. Contact me through that. I'm gonna check out a couple underground nightclubs. As Deku tossed a ear communicator over to Shigaraki, over to the League of Villains. Shigaraki caught it in his hand. It goes in your ear. It's a communicator, so we can keep in touch no matter where I am or no matter where you are at. We'll be able to communicate with each other without no problems. It's my own personal invention. It has insane range. Shigaraki is becoming a lot more interested in all this high-tech technology that Deku has access. He knows for sure Deku makes all his technology. That's the only thing that makes sense, considering the technology at his disposal. The stuff he's seen him use is far more advanced than he's ever seen. Not even David's shield can make the same type of advances that Deku clearly is. Shigaraki is definitely thinking he is a hidden genius. And that genius is at the disposal of the League. Shigaraki watched Deku leave through the front door of the bar. What do you think about Deku, Kirigiri? I don't know yet, young master. But there's one thing I know about the young man. He gets results. He's been completely loyal to the League so far. I would have to hate to kill him. I actually like the guy. Now, I believe I have some recruiting to do. Deku was just walking down the street, inside the sealed off part of the city, where the bar is located. Deku made his way to the first underground fighting club. He followed the crowd of people going through an old warehouse and entering a secret entrance that led underground. Deku put on his face guard over the lower part of his face before he went in any further. He sat down on one of the booths closest to the cage arena once he finally got to the place. Deku ordered a drink from one of the waitresses. He watched the fights closely. The underground fighting club basically is filled with low-level criminals alongside with low-tier villains. No one has stuck out yet to get Deku's notice. The underground fighting arena announced the next match. As they announced, this fight is between two villains. As a large man enters the arena, the larger villain has a above average enchantment quirk, basically a strength quirk, and enhancements quirk. Basically a dumbed down, super strength quirk. Yuri Blood, a upcoming female villain, entered the arena. She crossed her arms against her chest, waiting for the match to begin. She looks pretty much uninterested in this fight. She only came to this undeveloped planet, hopefully for a challenge. So far, she's been very disappointed. The humans on this planet have interesting abilities, but that's pretty much just it. They're just interesting. Not powerful enough to make her even glance at them. So far she's seen no one has posed a threat to her. Yuri is a banished new god. Usually other new gods that get banished goes and joins Darkseid, but she has no attention of joining forces with that despicable man. She refused to lower herself to be a servant to some madman. As she watches the human rush towards her, the villain threw a punch at Yuri. She uncrossed her arms and slapped the fist away as she slammed her palm into the chest, exploding his heart inside his body. As he dropped to the ground, dead, with blood oozing out of his eyes, ears, nostrils. It was an instant kill. And that simple performance got Deku's immediate attention. Deku walked up to the register as he signed up for the underground fights. Luckily for Deku, anyone could sign up and fight at any time. It didn't take long for Deku first fight. He has to fight through all the lower life forms before he could fight with that woman who he wants to fight with. He immediately scanned her with his eyes, so he immediately knows she's not a human, she's a new god. He's never fought against one of their kind before, so he's a bit excited as he stepped into the cage dome arena with his hands behind his back, waiting patiently for his opponent. Blackfire was drinking one of the planet's alcohol beverages as she gave her friend and partner in crime a smirk as Yuri approached and sat down, a bit annoyed, not finding a challenge on this planet so far. Looks like another match is about to begin, and by the look of it, this one seems a lot more attractive compared to the losers we've came across so far. Yuri's focused her attention on the guy with the long green hair and green eyes, wearing some sort of black face guard covering the lower part of his face. You sense that Blackfire. He's definitely different compared to the pathetic lower life forms on this planet. I would definitely have to agree with you there. Let's see what he does. My instinct is telling me he's dangerous, and my instincts is never wrong. That's how I kept myself alive for so long. Deku's opponent finally entered the ring. He's a villain with spiky blonde hair. He has a electric type quirk that he could shoot out of his fingers and hands. They announced the match has finally begun. Villain did not stay idle and began to shoot bits of electricity out of his fingertips at Deku. Deku just slapped them away. Back of his hand. Is that all? Is that all? How disappointing. You say, you arrogant little shit? You're boring. You're boring me. The villain easily took the bait and blindly charged at Deku. Deku waited for him to get into striking range and land a devastating lightning punch. The moment Deku's fist made contact with the man's chest, a huge bolt of electricity shoot through his body, frying his organs from the inside, as he was completely electrocuted to death. As he flung As the body dropped to the ground in the middle of the ring, as smoke is beginning to come out of the man's mouth, ears, and nose, as they announced Deku the winner of the match, Deku walked out of the ring and leaned against the wall, waiting for the next match to be called, waiting for his turn to get back into the ring. He just has to kill the small fries until he can fight against the new god that goes by Yuri. He doesn't know that, but he did remember the announcer called her by that. He figured that was her name. A few more matches went by. Deku was once again called into the cage arena. Deku calmly, with his hands behind his back, walked into the cage arena, with an emotional expression on his face. Early tell by half of his face is covered, but you could tell from his eyes. As a younger opponent entered the ring, he looks about the age of 16 years old, with a fire quirk. Unfortunately for the young man, his fire quirk can only be activated through his fists and feet, much like a firebender. Deku noticed his opponent has flicker of flames every time he closes his fist. Deku found it amusing. He's never had to activate his green fire before. In truth, he hasn't used all of his abilities. He's only been using his physical strength, telekinesis, heat vision, lightning, energy-based beams. He immediately became deadly focus as the match begins, as the humans charge forward, throwing punches as a wave of fire fly out of the human's fist and flying towards Deku. Deku copied the same attack and threw his own fist as a wave of green fire hit the wave of red as both fires collide with each other. But the green fire overtook the red as the young fire user had to roll out of the way of the very dangerous burst of green fire. What the hell? We have the exact same quirk? But that can't be possible. You were using electricity in your last match. Impressive. You caught on to that, and very observant of you. Indeed, I did use electricity-based attacks in my last match. But I have far more than just electricity at my disposal. Worry not, I won't use any of my other abilities, except for my fire. I want to see what you can do with your element. I'm also curious how far I can take mine as well. Think of this as a little test. Let us begin. With one snap of his finger, green fireballs came into existence, shooting towards the panicking fire user. Each time a green fireball would come close to him, he would throw a kick as a wave of red fire would meet the green fireball. As there was a slight explosion when the two opposite flames made contact with each other. Deku watches his opponent try to confuse him with his impressive speed for a human. He's clearly built for more speed and fast attacks because of his slim build. But of course, Deku could easily keep track of his opponent. He's only human after all. Despite his impressive speed, of pure physical training, Deku easily dodged and blocked every fire fist or flaming kick he received. Deku grabbed his wrist on his right arm, pulled him in close, as a green fireball was created in Deku's hands, and slammed it into his stomach as the fire user was forced backwards, hitting the cage of the fighting arena. As he ricocheted off the metal cage and hit the ground hard, while hitting the arena floor hard, the young fire user struggles to get to his feet, pushing back the pain from the burn marks on his stomach from the last attack he just received. He's left with no choice. He doesn't like to use his fire quirk in this manner. It's pretty rough on his throat. The young fire user breathed in deeply, then exhaled as he begins to shoot heavily condensed small fire shots out of his mouth. Deku dodged almost all of them as he grabbed one of the very high condensed fireballs in the palm of his hands and threw it back at the wielder, hitting him in the chest. Deku appeared right in front of him and cocked his hand backwards and delivered a fire fist into his chest. Once again, he was shooed off and hit the metal cage and ricochet off it, hitting the arena ground once again. As the guy is completely knocked out, as they announced Deku the winner, Deku calmly walked out of the arena and returned back to his original position by leaning against the wall, waiting for the next match to begin. He was hoping to see more of the god capabilities before he could fight her. That was quite a performance. He has accomplished at piquing my interest. Remain to be seen if he's worthy of fighting against me. Only time will tell. That's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time, so I'll catch you in the next video.